It's playoff week. We are finally here. The postseason is here in the NFL zoo. I couldn't be more excited. This is a postseason that honestly it's more up for grabs than I think it's been in a while. I think, well, last year, none of us were pulling for the Chiefs. None of us were picking the Chiefs except for the two old ladies that bet. Chiefs wound up taking it. We probably should have looked at that in hindsight and seen that was more clearly coming.
But that was, I think, both counts. It was this. So last year was a spite thing. It was exactly the same as it was Brady going to the Super Bowl as many times as he did because it was just like we just want to see somebody else, right? Like this is just getting boring. Like we're tired of the Mahomes story, we're tired of the Kelsey story. Um, we've just been hearing way too much about Taylor Swift at the time. So and then this year was just like you're barely winning every game. Like how do you have the record that you do? So it was more of like last year was we just want to see somebody else, like entertain us by showing us somebody else. And this year is just like, how? What gods do you pray to that get you here?
And we're about 2 weeks from finding out. Thankfully, we don't have to see them this week. The Chiefs are off. They have their bye. They got the number one seed in the AFC. On the NFC side, Detroit Lions, they will be off after, I would say, they made a statement against the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday Night Football for who would get the number one seed in the NFC and who would take the NFC North. So, for them, they don't have to worry. They don't have to play. Minnesota Vikings will be playing a wild card game this week. They are going to be taking on the LA Rams, which, breaking news just coming in, the Vikings versus Rams game that's supposed to be on Monday Night Football for the wild card, which by the way, I hate. I hate a Monday night game for playoffs.
Yeah.
That game was supposed to be played in LA. The NFL has announced that they are going to move that game to Arizona. It's going to be at a neutral site.
I was just waiting for it.
Yeah, they'll be playing at the Cardinal Stadium because of the just insanely awful wildfires happening out there in California. So that should be interesting. How do you feel about a neutral site playoff game? I mean, for LA, for the Rams, SoFi's kind of neutral site anyway.
Was the last time that San Fran had to play in Arizona? Was that because of COVID? This isn't the first time this has happened in recent years where a California team has had to go to Arizona.
And it's been for wildfire too. I know.
Maybe it was for the same reason. I think it was just the air quality issue.
Yeah.
So this isn't something we haven't seen before. It's just a different team this time. And one of the ongoing stories with SoFi before all this happened is that like it's an easy stadium to take over because there really aren't like the Rams and Chargers are still relatively new to being an LA thing, right? And for LA sports, it is more of just kind of like something to do on a Sunday as opposed to like diehard fans of those teams. So it being on a neutral site, I really don't think affects the Rams that much as you would think. I feel like dedicated fans that are rooting for the team against them are going to find ways to make it there anyways, and the crowd will probably split 50-50 regardless. So it's not that big of a difference than just playing at SoFi. You just have less branding around.
Right. Now you get a little bit of travel for both teams, but not a significant amount for the Rams on this case. Well, that's a major storyline going into this wild card weekend and going into the playoffs in general. I want to ask you, because it's a pretty simple show today. Going to make these wild card picks for Ricks versus Gricks. I want to ask, going into this, are there any storylines? Are there any questions that you want answered going into these 2025 playoffs? Because I know for me, one of the biggest things I'm watching, one of the biggest things I've been curious about all season, because you just knew the Baltimore Ravens are going to make the playoffs. It's a perennial contender type of team. That's what they've warranted now. But we see Lamar Jackson, he's put up enough of a case, I think, and enough of a fight. I believe you can see it at 323 Reid on Instagram, the MVP rankings every week. I think he's put up a case to win MVP for a third time. He is in a bout with Josh Allen over that. it's undoubted because especially players that have won MVP twice have almost, I believe, all made the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
But you're looking for legacy now. And Lamar can win MVP 3 times. Cool. But for so many people, what do you look at? Rings. You look at appearances. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens under him have not made the Super Bowl in his tenure. In fact, they've been hard pressed to even advance far in the playoffs. And last time we saw it was this past season, AFC Championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And it just felt like a choke job. It felt like a total collapse on their part. So I'm curious to see Lamar finally step out of those shadows to see if he can do it. This is a team that's built around him completely. Zay Flowers is all pro or Pro Bowl wide receiver is injured, but still has a chance to pop up in these things. Regardless, you're the MVP. You're a player at a caliber unlike many others who should be able to take over games, who should be able to lead your team to the promised land. This is the time to do it. The Chiefs are not their strongest. You could take them out. I don't believe the Bills are the strongest they can possibly be yet. The Texans are a little weak. This is a season where the Ravens should be able to take it. I think anybody in the AFC can take that conference. I want to see Lamar Jackson finally step up and do it. I believe that he can. I believe that you get Derrick Henry to help take some of that weight off. It's worked this season. Let's see it finally come to a crescendo and see Lamar Jackson step out of the shadows and get to his first Super Bowl. That's what I'm looking forward to this playoffs and wanting to see.
The story of can the Ravens make it to the Super Bowl is more intriguing to me than is Lamar another MVP. The reason I feel like Josh Allen deserves it more than Lamar is because the Ravens organization has given him the pieces, the tools, the weapons to be as good as he is. The big question for Josh Allen this year was that a lot of people who were on big contracts did not renew for this year. We had just the Diggs of the world, right? Everything going into Lamar season was he has Derrick Henry, he has Zay Flowers, he has Mark Andrews, he has Bateman, he has all these weapons. He's set up for success. And Josh Allen's story was, what does he have now? We have to trade for an Amari Cooper. Who's he going to pass it to? Who's this big name? Who's this big number? Still got 13 wins. So if you're talking most valuable player, Josh Allen is the most valuable player. Lamar is in the most competitive system. And it's not to take away like what he has done and how incredible of a player that he is and the numbers that he's able to put up. But I feel like Josh Allen is doing a lot more with a lot less. And if you're talking most valuable player, that is why Josh Allen deserves it over Lamar Jackson. But the Ravens are better equipped to potentially make it to the Super Bowl this year.
I like it. What chances do you see for the Buffalo Bills right now? Because like I'm saying, I believe that it's a very wide open, not wide open, but it's an open conference this year, right? Like
it's a fun conference.
It's a fun conference. I mean, all of these teams. I mean, you could make a somewhat of a case, I think, for every team that's right now in the AFC. Even the Broncos have me smoking a little bit of that Denver pack for that Bo Nix pack because they're just fun. All of these teams are fun, minus the Texans. They got that. They got exactly what we called. They got that Saturday afternoon shit game for the wild card weekend. They got that. Yeah. They deserve it. But
There's just a lot of cool underdog stories. Like the Niners didn't make it, the Cowboys didn't make it, the Bengals didn't make it. The greatest Jaguars team that's ever been assembled didn't make it. So there's a lot of like the Broncos are ahead of schedule, the Commanders are ahead of schedule, the Chargers are ahead of schedule. Like these are teams that it's like I don't know how far they're going to go, but they're going to make these games really interesting. And that's going to be the fun part about it. Like Packers and Eagles, like it's going to be a rematch of week 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the rematch of week 1. Commanders Bucks is the rematch of week 1. I don't know if Rams played Vikings week 1, but that'd be cool if all the NFC teams were week 1 matchups. I don't think the Packers are going to beat the Eagles. I know I'm getting a little ahead, but they are a young team with a lot of spunk that definitely put in a lot of effort to get to where they're at right now. So all these wild card candidates and all these lower tier teams are just kind of like, we're going to make your lives a living hell to get past us to get into the divisional round.
Yeah, it's been cool to see so much of this fight to get in here. I mean, the Rams were at a point like middle of the season talking about, like, everybody's talking about, oh, they need to trade Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's on the trade block here. You might as well just blow this thing up and just see where it goes. And you get one game. I think it was actually against the Vikings. I think that was the game, the Thursday night game against the Vikings, where Puka Nacua returned, Cooper Kupp returned, and you just saw that, oh shit, this is a Super Bowl winning team.
This is still a Sean McVay team.
Yeah, this is Sean McVay's team. So like it's just a lot of fight, a lot of storylines, a lot of good chances for most of these teams. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the wild card. And excited. They don't call it Super Wild Card Weekend anymore, too. I noticed they got rid of that marketing.
Who called it that the other? I think I was just listening to a Commanders podcast and when somebody called it that.
It's our Super Wild Card Weekend. I know that. This is my Super Weekend. I'm excited. Look, I'm excited, man. We should just go ahead and jump. I sound like John Gruden. I'm excited, man. I'm feeling nicey. Ooh. Let's go ahead and just get right into it. Let's pick these games. Let's talk about them. Let's go ahead and get
You want to talk about the official winner of the regular season, Ricks versus Gricks?
Don't worry. We'll bring them up. We'll bring up the Gricks.
Time, space, referee decision-making. These are all just some of the mysterious, uncontrollable strands of life that make up the massive universe that we call home, and the comfort food for the soul that we call sports. As most people journey through it with no idea where to go or what to do, a select few will help you navigate the terror, frustration, and endless possibilities of making a 50-50 choice. This is Ricks versus Gricks.
That's right. We're back in the playoffs, man. It's Ricks versus Gricks, Reid's picks versus Griffin's picks. But you know what? We love Griffin. He's literally all around us, a surreal feeling, but he's no longer the Grick. We gave the title away last year to one Zuhair Ali, the king himself, the one that me and Scott wrote a song about the other night while doing College Shame Day. Yeah, you'll hear it one day. We have a couple of songs written about you, actually, that we have for theme songs for you. You'll love them. They're wonderful. They're wonderful, and they were done with the help of AI, so they couldn't be racist, as much as Scott tried.
Weirdly, you're not the first one to make an AI song about me.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a zoodiful thing. And this man, Zoo himself, he was the Grick last year. He won the title not only in the regular season, he won it in the postseason too, I believe. I don't know. That's what I keep arguing.
I don't think I got postseason.
Maybe it was
I think Luis got postseason.
Yeah, I think it was Luis.
Because you flipped it around. You gave Luis regular season credit at the beginning thing, and I was like, I think I have a title there, sir.
Look, we need more producers. I heard a podcast the other day, and they were doing the credits at the end of the podcast, and they were like our producer on this, our producer on this, our producer on this. I was like, whoa. I was like, damn. I was like, these shows have like 10 producers? What? Like, what is this? I was like, this is how they remember things. But yes, Zuhair Ali finished the regular season at 67-39. Congrats to him. He is once again the Grick.
I was getting nervous when you said that you needed a perfect streak and I lost like the first 2 games. I was like, oh no.
I know. It felt nice. It felt nice. But here's the thing. Like, I put in all that work, and that asshole Scott got the Funko Pop bonus that put him like right back in contention. I know. I shouldn't. I could have eaten the paper, and I would have never had to think about it again. But Scott finished last week 5-1, so he finished in second place for the season at 64-43. I went 4-2 last week, finished 63-43. Luis went 4-2. He finished the season 49-57. And with guest pickers throughout the season, Angela finished number one producer. Angela 5-1. Jay Sisson went 4-2. BVK went 3-3. Travis Byram, shout out. We love your movie coverage. He went 1-5.
I love how like Luis is so top tier when it comes to the fantasy picks, and then I'm like shit at it to the point that I retired. And then when it comes to like game picks, I'm like, sup?
It's just where you have it down, and so we're gonna have you spoil the playoffs and tell us what's going on, tell the people what's going on, and we're gonna start right here in the wild card round. First game on Saturday afternoon. We have the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 11-6. They are at the Houston Texans, who are 10-7. Chargers are a 3-point favorite in this game. Zoo, who do you want?
All right, so I'm going to have the disclaimer that the magic only applies to the regular season. Apparently, I didn't do too great with the postseason last year, so take all of this with a grain of salt. I'm going to go with the Chargers because I made it very clear in the regular season that I can't trust the Texans anymore. Every time I had faith in them, every time I think that they were just one little rut away from figuring it out and coming back to form like they were last year and having some spunk to them, they were like, nah, everyone's on a sophomore. So everyone took CJ's sophomore slump. Chargers have spunk. Harbaugh's got that team pushing. Herbert's in his element right now. I think the Chargers are going to take this one.
I'm not going to be hard-pressed to fight you on that one. I'm also taking the LA Chargers. Wearing that LA yellow, sort of Easter yellow a little bit.
Sure.
I just like what the Chargers are cooking up. I agree with you on the Texans. It was my bold prediction preseason is that the Texans and CJ Stroud would hit that sophomore slump. A lot of injuries in the throughout that offense, and Chargers have just been fun. Like Jim Harbaugh has been that presence who has brought everything. He's brought the crazy. Justin Herbert said the other day that he knew that Jim Harbaugh was different when Jim Harbaugh told the whole team that he remembers the day he was born. So he said he vividly remembers the day he was born. So Jim Harbaugh is just different, and he's bringing that energy to this team. Chargers are playing like it. I see them just getting a very fun, exciting win here in the wild card round and taking out the Texans.
I want them to have some variation of Hard Knocks next year.
I would love that.
I actually really like the divisional coverage, and as much as I want to see the Commanders on Hard Knocks, like I think the Chargers could make a fun preseason.
Yeah,
Hard Knock.
The more Jim Harbaugh, the better. Like he's just dynamite. Love him. Other Saturday game that we have, and the Saturday night game on Amazon Prime. It's an exclusive to Prime Video, so yeah. A lot of people have opinions on that, but you get what you get. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
What is a Crunchyroll?
The Pittsburgh Steelers, they are taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Steelers are 10-7. Ravens are 12-5.
Crunchyroll.
Baltimore is a 9.5-point favorite in this game. Zoo, who are you going to take here?
Yeah, Steelers coming off of a 3-loss streak. We were talking about how they're just frauds. It's incredible they did as well as they did. The Ravens have a good operation. They are riding the high right now, and they're going to be taking the win on Prime.
Yeah. I got to go Baltimore here. It's been a weird downward spiral that the Steelers have been on, and it's a thing where I'm rooting for Mike Tomlin every year, right? Like, I think he's a great coach. He's an awesome dude, awesome personality. But this has been a thing for the last decade, maybe, where the Steelers play hard as hell midseason. Like, they look like one of the toughest dream-killing teams out there. And then just kind of limp into the playoffs and just boot it out. Week 1. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's happening. Russell Wilson's been playing fine. He's not Mr. Unlimited, but he's been playing fine. And he's still making these plays, though, where he's overthrowing George Pickens on what would have been a beautiful catch catch of the year candidate for him. It's just a yard overthrown every time. They're having talks about Justin Fields potentially playing. They're like, what are you going to do with him, Arthur Smith? Is he going to play at all? Will he start? Should he start? All these questions. When you got 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks, and you can't have that going into the wild card.
Is this Fields' first playoff appearance?
Yeah, I believe it is, because I think the last time the Bears made it to the playoffs was with the MVP, Mitch Trubisky. I think it's with. Yeah, with shout out to Matt Nagy. He's getting head coach interviews. If you took Mitch Trubisky to the playoffs, I mean, maybe there was something there. I don't know. But
watch this be like a Bieniemy repeat where it's like, oh yeah, he's great. Look what he did for a Super Bowl winning team. And then it's like, what?
Whoa,
Can't even get a college job now.
I don't even know where Bieniemy is at this point. I think he got fired from USC.
He got fired from
That's crazy.
Or UCLA.
Oh God. But yeah. No matter what, I'm taking the Ravens here. It's just it's too much to overcome, I think, for Pittsburgh. I think we'll see a little bit of a repeat of that Christmas game or whatever pre-Christmas game that was. Next up, staying in the AFC, we have the Denver Broncos, who are 10-7. They are at the Buffalo Bills, 13-4. Buffalo's an 8.5-point favorite here, Zoo. We are excited about both of these teams. We were just talking them up a lot. Who are you going to take in this one?
Yeah, I think the Broncos are going to be spunky. They're going to put up a fight, but there's going to be not so gentle reminders that Bo Nix is a rookie and Josh Allen is an MVP. So the Bills are going to take this one, especially at home. That's going to be a rough environment for the rookie.
Oh yeah, yeah. Keep that fanfare going. I'm taking the Bills too. I agree with you. I hope it's a fun, spunky game for the Broncos. I hope it's that for Bo Nix's confidence. I hope he can come out of this with a sort of moral victory, even though we hate those. I would like to see him, continue to. I'm just happy to see the Broncos with the franchise quarterback too. We can be happy to see other teams get franchise quarterbacks, and I was like, oh, that's good for you. Yes, isn't it wonderful?
Because ours is still better.
Oh, it's so good. Good for you guys. Yeah, I don't see them overcoming the Bills in this one, especially in Buffalo. You hadn't even thought about that. Buffalo's gonna handle this game. Next up, we go to the NFC. We're in the NFC side now. Green Bay Packers are 11-6. They are at the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 13-4. Philly's a 4.5-point favorite in this one, Zoo, and Jalen Hurts looks like he's going to play. He's been in concussion protocol, missed the last 2 games, but finally started to practice on Wednesday. Who are you going to take here?
I really want the Packers to repeat what they did last year and just surprise everyone by beating the NFC East team, but I just think the Eagles are too stacked, even with Kenny Pickett under center. So it's going to be a tight match, but there's going to be some Packers mistakes that's just going to throw them off, and the Eagles are going to take it.
Yeah, it's one of those where, like, the Packers have been fun. They've been exciting. They're going to get their linebacker Quay Walker back, but they did just lose Jair Alexander to IR. Jordan Love has been playing really, really well, especially because of Toyotathon. But now, even though that's over, he's still playing pretty well. And I want to take the Packers. But just like you said, even with the Eagles, even with Kenny Pickett under center, I have a weird kind of confidence in them. And I've been feeling a little sentimental today. It is my big bro Ray Ray's birthday. We lost him in 2020. And, miss him all the time, think about him all the time. He was the biggest Eagles fan that I knew. Talked more shit to everybody, wanted to smoke all the time. He was somebody who was very excited about this show, about this network, this whole thing coming up, and wanting to be a huge part of it, and wanted all the smoke with anybody who would possibly come through on this show to take on anything he had about the Eagles. So for him, this one weekend only, I will say, fly Eagles fly. I'm taking the Eagles in this one. Love you, Ray Ray. That, by the way, Ray Ray was somebody that he was the only person that I've seen almost get us in a fight with Josh Norman when Josh Norman was a cornerback for the Washington Redskins. We went to training camp there, and it was the same training camp where I thought Jay Gruden was going to be my dude daddy. Because on one side of the camp, I had Ray Ray screaming garbage at Josh Norman. and getting his attention and him pointing at us. I was like, oh, what the hell? And I was looking for my mom. I'm like, where's my mom? She's over at the fence chatting up Jay Gruden. Two of them are just
you meant literally.
like she's just over there chatting up Jay Gruden and taking pictures with them. I was like, what the hell is happening over there? I was like, they look cozy.
Was she still a Skins fan at the time?
Yeah, she was. Yeah, we had the picture of them. She got in a random picture with Jay Gruden. Everything. My future dad. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Next up, talking about Washington, we have the Commanders, who are 12-5. Oh my goodness, I didn't even play their sound.
The fucking Commanders! Ah!
They're 12-5. They are at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are 10-7. It's a Week 1 rematch where Tampa Bay won pretty handily. You saw that on the 323 network when we watched it live. Tampa Bay's a 3-point favorite in this one. Zoo, who are you taking?
Are you used to saying 12 wins yet?
I'm not. I'm really
I know
not.
it's been a whole week, but like...
It makes me happier and happier to hear it.
Alright, so my heart says that the Bucs are going to take this because Baker Mayfield is a monster and Bucky Irving is just insane. We cannot stop the run for the life of us, and even if we're excited for the Evans-Lattimore matchup, like he's coming off a hamstring injury, he's been missing so many games. But this is Ricks versus Gricks. We got to make it a little interesting. I'm taking the Commanders for this one.
Yeah.
But I want everyone to know that I'm not being just a fanboy. Like, I understand that we are probably not going to win this.
I want to say that I'm not being a fanboy, right? Like, I want to say that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should win this. But I've gotten to the point where I've now I haven't talked myself into a Super Bowl, even though you could ask producer Angela. I've loosely tried to think about. I was like, we could beat the Lions if we got to them, but I'm staking one week at a time. I think that we can beat the Buccaneers. I don't like the injuries on Tampa Bay's defense. Of course, Baker Mayfield has been playing lights out, but it's also been a little bit inconsistent. Those 7 losses have been pretty rough losses. They play games pretty tight now because of the defensive deterioration and the injuries there. Mike Evans versus Marshawn Lattimore is enough to put this game on Sunday Night Football. That should be a fun matchup. It is all the time. People were talking about last week. Mike Evans, congrats to him, by the way, tying the record with Jerry Rice for most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Baker Mayfield went out of his way to get him that pass, and people were saying if Marshawn Lattimore had still
what's
been
it
on the
like having
Saints,
to wait until the last quarter to get that 1,000 yards?
Oh my
I haven't
God.
seen that happen in our team in a year.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, if Marshawn Lattimore had still been on the Saints, he would have taken out Evans' knees, anything he could to keep him from that record. The two of them just straight up hate each other. It's fun. I think that this is what we got Lattimore for. I think this is what this team has been waiting for, to make a big moment, a big statement. I don't know if they do anything past wild card weekend, but I'm pretty confident when I say I'm taking the Commanders here against the Bucs.
Have we had a differing pick yet?
Nope.
Nope.
Look at us. We're going down on the ship together.
Last week you're gonna go complete opposite of me.
Yeah, this week it's been all over. Yeah.
Right.
Final game, we have the Minnesota Vikings, who are 14-3 on the road, wild, at the Los Angeles Rams in Arizona. Rams are 10-7. Minnesota's a 1-point favorite here in this one. Zoo, who are you going to take?
Man, I love what the Vikings have been doing this season. I've been excited to see them in the playoffs. It's a bummer that they didn't get the number 1 seed. But I have a funny feeling about this one, and I'm going to stick with the underdogs and think that Sean McVay's Rams are going to put up a show.
It's funny that I thought this was going to be the first game that we were going to differ on, but no, I'm taking the Rams also in this. It would not be a surprise to me, as my bold season prediction was the Rams to lose to the Ravens in the Super Bowl this year. It would not shock me to see the LA Rams make it all the way and be a surprise team that comes out of Wild Card Weekend into a Super Bowl appearance. When healthy, with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp healthy and this team operating on mostly full cylinders, it's a team that can contend with just about anybody. The Vikings, I think, showed some weak spots last week. We know that Justin Jefferson is the security blanket for Sam Darnold. If you cover that enough, or even just allow the bare minimum to Jefferson throughout the game and cover everything else, take out everything else, hold Aaron Jones on run defense, which the Rams can do and take on a good run. I think that there's a lot of vulnerabilities and a lot of the bad Darnold that you can get back out there and, showing just who you thought he was before and get him a little nervous. I'm a little cautious of his nerves going into the postseason. The Rams have an incredible amount of experience under the guide of not Sam Bradford. I did what Scott's mistake was, of Matt Stafford and Sean McVay. I like the Rams here. I'm taking the Rams pretty confidently in this one to take out the Vikings. So we'll see.
So I just looked it up. The Rams week 1 matchup was against the Lions. So had the Vikings won that game, the whole NFC would have been a week 1 repeat.
That would have been crazy. That's right. I forgot about that. And the Rams, was the score close? Did the Rams hold their own in that one? I thought they did.
The Lions. No. Yeah, the Lions won 26-20 in overtime.
Yeah. I fully believe in the Rams here. And so those are our picks for the wild card round here in Ricks versus Gricks. You will be able to see Scott Elliott's picks, Luis Martinez's picks, if you go to @323Reid, @323REID on all social media. Go check that out. Wait for Sunday. You'll get that and the Kayshon Boutte memorial betting slip. That will be there as well from Scott. Yeah.
While we're on social media, join the excitement with us. This is NFL postseason.
Yes.
Bring on the comments. Whose picks do you like? Who do you think is going to win? Are we on to something? Who do you think's making it to the Super Bowl? I want these updates every week. Talk to us, people. Let's see what you got.
Please engage with us. It's fun on TikTok. Come on TikTok. It gets very fun, sometimes very toxic, but we have a good time there. Please, yes, tell us what we did wrong. Tell us what we're getting right. Don't worry, we'll shout right back at you when we're right, inevitably.
Our profiles are tagged on there too. You can call us out.
Bring it. Scott starts random fights in Sports Center comment sections. We're there for you. We'll get you. That guy right there, that lovely, wonderful man right there is Zuhair Ali. Zoo, what's going on in your life? What do you got to promote?
Yeah, just follow Upright Exposures for all the dopest house pictures you could see in 757.
You heard him. Go follow. Don't fight him.
I'm full mode right now.
Yeah. Don't fight him about picks on that one. He has his own page.
Love it.
Yeah, he has his page that he'll fight you on in our comments. Don't worry about that. Of course, you can go check him out. Go check out the 323 College Shame Day Instagram page for live updates as we go through the playoffs and semifinals are happening right now. And of course, at Big Chief Burrito, Luis Martinez for all updates on all of the great things he's doing out there in the West Coast. And of course, our thoughts, our prayers, our condolences, our hopes are with you out on the West Coast, our people in LA, and all affected by the wildfire. You're going to get through this. Everybody, enjoy this wild card week and have some fun. Relax. If you're going to be snowed in like I will be, just get some buffalo wings going. Enjoy these games. Have fun. And
raise hail.
And raise hail. Raise hail and praise Dale, brother. We will talk to you all next week. I'm sure we'll have a Sunday hangover going after this Sunday night matchup. Not after that game. You'll catch us maybe Monday, some of us on Monday, talking about it. My ass is going to be asleep. But we will talk to you next week. Stay safe, everybody.